extraordinary escalation in the capital expenditure. 256.25 crores was approved. Now it is 1,415.717 crores, which is basically nearly 6 times. This petition does not provide any justification why this sort of capex was not, envisaged, and suddenly why it had to be done. Because at the time of tariff approval, if this was done, I don't know what the effect on the tariffs would have been. So is there some sort of cover-up going on? The second thing is, despite this unprecedented increase, intrastate T&D losses, which have been reduced, I agree, they have gone down from 7.95 to 7.44. But is that commensurate with the expenditure done? Of course, I know that some part of this expenditure might have been done late in the year, so we'll come to know the results of this later. But still, it's something that one should go into appeal because of this extraordinary increase. 250 to 1,400 and 7.95 to 7.44. There should be some correlation, I think. Second thing is power purchase cost has increased to 2557.91 from something like 2,000 something. This is basically, we understand, because power has to be procured through short-term arrangements, power exchanges, traders, banking mechanism, whatever. But this petition also does not make it clear whether the long-term cheaper power or renewable sources were optimally utilized at that time. This is a very transient process, I understand. But I think there should have been some justification, because 2,000 to 2,500 is roughly 25% increase. Now the revenue gap, which has increased from 122 projected approved to 181. This is roughly 59 crores, which is nearly half. So projections were wrong by 50%. And the government stands up and absorbs this. Of course, like Mr. Patil said.
Just to clarify, this is what they have asked for. We still have to see.
Exactly.
Whether it is 180 or less. We still have to see
that all this is going through. So, at the time of tariff increase, when we were desperately asking the government in the past to absorb the revenue gaps so that people would pay lesser tariffs, there were various reasons given. And now suddenly, when the electricity department wants it, the government says yes. This is rather odd. Something that maybe not Mr. Stevens, but the government will have to look into.
The last part I did not understand. 50% less. What is that cost?
From 122, revenue gap approved was 122.
Okay.
And the revenue gap now is 182.
Okay.
50% increase. Then we have a major point would be a transparency deficit. This water.
Of course.
Like many aggregate figures have been shown. Scheme-wise capex breakup is not there. Feeder level loss data, maybe I'm asking a bit too much, but again, I think it should be there. Source-wise power procurement rationale, why different sources were used at different times. These are not there. But regarding transparency, the one major thing that I feel should be addressed, and this is not a fault of anybody's, it's a suggestion. We have so few people here. I myself became aware of this act just yesterday. Of course, they have given it the papers, whatever. But I feel that next time, there is one document from the electricity department that everybody needs. It's the electricity bill. I suggest that next time the electricity department, in the cycle before the hearing, should put this notice on the electricity bill about the GERC hearing. So every consumer who is a stakeholder in these proceedings gets to know of this hearing at home, because he's going to pay the bill in any case. So just a suggestion I would like to make.
See, the method of notifying the public is already there in the regulations.
Yes,
It says
that's what I said. Statutorily,
and a clear 21 days notice is given to everybody. There is ample opportunity. But anyway, whatever you're suggesting, maybe the
I
department.
have
will
never
take
said
care of
that
we normally-
statutorily,
no.
statutorily they must have done it.
It could be a
But
technical
this is
issue
just a
also.
suggestion.
It could be we normally give a 21-day notice.
Yeah.
So it's not necessary. It may be possible that the bill, previous bill may have been generated. So, but anyway,
If it's possible.
I think the department will examine on ways how to connect to public. Maybe if they have a system of SMSs, we could do that.
Social media can be used.
We'll ask them to do this. Yeah, yeah.
I'm just
Yeah,
asking
but-
for this to be made.
But all
more-
good responses,
Yeah.
yes.
Revenue gap for 24-25 is proposed as nil because of the cover from the government. But this high capitalization which is on, and I have not fully understood why capitalization has been less and the capital expenditure has been more.
The
There must be
capital
certain reasons for this.
expenditure is the payments made for the works, and capitalization is the works which have been completed and put to use. So if the work is still ongoing, let's say a 5-kilometer underground cable is being laid, there would be periodic payments. But the work would be capitalized only when the entire 5-kilometer stretch is over. So let's say in a 5-kilometer stretch, a 50-meter work has got stuck up. It will not be capitalized. It will be capitalized only when the entire work is done. That's why there is a difference between capitalization and expenditure. But they will get a return on equity only on the part capitalized, which is within the limits of, which is lower than what was prescribed.
Yes.
But
I-
anyway, we'll let the department
I
answer that.
understand that, sir, but basically the capitalized expenditure is money going from my pocket. And if for some fault of some officer.
Absolutely, the
it's not
numbers,
being capitalized.
the numbers should converge.
Yes.
What you're
that's
saying is
what I'm
right.
saying.
The numbers should
It's
converge.
not the government's money, it's not
Yeah.
somebody's money, it's my money that's
Correct,
going. That's the
correct.
problem.
Right.
In addition to that, I mean, it's a very, the petition is a very meticulously compiled document. I mean, one small thing I would like to bring to your notice is that on line 3, page 26, after a table which starts the page, it's given that EDGO submits that employee expenses as approved by the Honorable Commission was rupees 414.84 crore, whereas the actual expenditure is rupees 427.4 crore, which is an increase of 22 crore roughly. And it explains it as a resulting in decrease of 3.03% over approved cost.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
No,
maths.
maybe it is a
Yeah, I said it's
clerical this thing. Here also.
I know that.
It is lower.
But I like to make a point.
Yes. Thank you so much. That is, yes.
Then on page 39, as I said previously, the increase the revenue gap is 59.66 crores. This is basically because the actual revenue has increased by 372.83 crores, and purchases have gone up by 476.36 crores. There's a difference of 104 crores. Now, I would like the commission to inquire into why this has happened. Why so much of, why all the planning, all the figures, or whatever has been done, and this has not resulted in what actually should have happened. There is a big discrepancy. So I would like the commission to go into this part. The actual number of consumers, even estimated, has gone down by 25,000, which for a state like Goa is huge. Which doesn't mean that people who were expected to take connections by the department, like huge buildings coming up, are now consuming electricity without taking connections. Basically, is it theft going on? Which is something I think we should be looking at. And the last point is about the smart meters, which Mr. Martins also raised. The actual installation of smart meter should begin in the month of December 25. I feel that there is not too much awareness in the public about what the smart meter actually is going to be. Because if the smart meter is something which the readings of which should reach some sell in the electricity department without it being actually physically seen, and without accessibility. Is that how smart the meter is going to be? If it is going to be that smart, and I don't know, why was there a sort of a mission by the electricity department in the past few months for people to bring their meters out in the open, make the meters accessible, where people have suffered costs, suffered even harassment at the hands of the local officers, that the meters should be brought out, otherwise connections would be disconnected. This has happened, and I know of at least one case where in an isolated bungalow, when the owner refused to shift his meter out, basically because along with the meter out, the electricity department staff wanted the MCB or the NCCB to be also accessible at all times. Now in an isolated area of Goa, there are no other people around, if you have your main MCB accessible, somebody might come in the middle of night, switch off your power supply. You wake up in the middle of night inside, and you want to come out and switch on your power supply, first thing. And then we say there is law and order situation. Some logic in this seems to be missing. Thank you.